Welcome to a Healing Peace podcast. My name is Kimmy Baker. I am the CEO and founder of J-Intel, a nonprofit organization that bridges the gap between faith-based and therapeutic resources. Being an overcomer, visionary, and God's creation, I empower women with their emotional wellness and intimacy with God to live abundantly. In this podcast series, we reveal that our wellness is not just physical health, but includes mental and spiritual health. True health and well-being include all three aspects. We transform our lives when we care for our mind, body, and spirit. Welcome back, ladies. As I told you, I have a special treat for you today. If you were listening last week, we were talking about being more than conquerors, and being in Christ allows us to be fueled by his love. And in his love, he protects, he guides, he directs. And I was doing all that wonderful sharing. And how about bringing on someone who does have a winner's mindset? So I'm so excited for our guest today. She's going to inspire us and help us to find those little tidbits that keep us inspired and keep us going. And I know as I'm saying this, you're like, oh, that's a lot, but that's all right. I believe that she can do incredible things because I've seen her work, and I look forward to having her share more of her experiences.
Are you ready for an interactive way to inspire, empower, and equip your community? As society returns to normal, we face the challenge of connecting and purposeful living. Our 501c3 nonprofit organization, J-Intel, understands this challenge. We have developed workshops that promote self-care and well-being. Invite J-Intel to your women's events such as retreats, luncheons, small group gatherings, and internal programs. Together, we will create an atmosphere for self-expression, self-discovery, confidence building, and spiritual connection. Go to jintel.org/booking to book us today.
Kristin, welcome to the show. I'm going to try my best to say your name clearly and correctly. So maybe in your introduction, you can pronounce your name correctly and then tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Kristin Railton, and I am a wife and a mom. I have been married 20 years in December. Crazy to say. We are a retired military family, and living in Florida right now in retirement. I have 2 teenage children, Ava and Hudson. Ava loves volleyball. Hudson loves running. And so, yeah, it's really fun living here at the beach. And as far as more about me, I have a degree in art history. I have bounced around from many things as far as what I've done with my life career-wise, worked in the school system. Being a military wife, it was a little hard to get a career path going. So my best friend growing up, I was artistic growing up, loved drawing, writing, creating, painting, and she bought me a camera and led me to start my own photography business. So it's been a journey through lots of different things as far as career-wise, but it's been fun. And as far as my relationship with God, I have always had a deep connection with him. I grew up going to church in the Lutheran church, but was baptized as an adult. And I feel like my life really turned around and changed. It'll be in July, 20 years ago, I was baptized. My life has never been the same having that relationship with Christ. It's just led me through so much transformation as a person, and knowing the Lord is just the greatest gift. So that's a little about me.
Yeah, and I can't believe it's been 20 years. I remember when Shailene, we have a mutual friend, was talking about her best friend and how excited she was to introduce you to God. But I know you have a lot of information from that 20 years of things that you've learned. And so today we're going to kind of get a little bit there. But the other thing that I'm really excited about of who you are in your artistic world is your photography. And I'll tell you guys, if you follow me on social media, the pictures that come out on Sunday, that's all her. And those are the pictures that get like the most likes, the most visibility. So I'm just letting you know you're real talented, and I appreciate you sharing your talents with us. And the other thing as well, because I don't know if you touched a little bit on is that you do a lot on social media. I think you try to, well, you are encouraging people as well as you have your business objectives there. But I want to talk a little bit more about the encouragement side. Like, what is inspiring you? Because social media is intense. But why are you trying to use social media to connect with people and to inspire and impact them?
Yeah, social media is intense. It's a whole different world from when I grew up. We had more personal connections with
Yeah.
people, I think, and I feel like social media has allowed us as a world to kind of connect with more people, but also pull back, if that makes sense. I think a lot of
Mm.
people, especially introverted people, and I'm an introvert, social introvert, I'll call myself. I love people, but I also need time to kind of pull myself back. And so it allows people to be connected on their own terms.
Mm.
And I feel like social media has opened up a whole new world for so many people.
Mhm.
It's a way to easily reach more people in the name of what you're trying to do. But like you said, it's intense. So I think you also have to connect with the right intentions and go at it with a plan.
Mhm.
That makes sense because so many of us, myself included, can get caught up in the feed. I'm a very soft hearted person. And
Mhm.
so, like in the last year, there's been a lot going on social media, a lot of intense stuff. And I can get drawn into that and take the weight of that on my spirit. And so, I think putting intentionally putting positive things out into the world
Mm.
makes an impact on people. They can come to your page and your site and get the goodness in the world instead of kind of being caught up in the fighting and the stuff that's going on in the world. I think there's just such a tension that I try to put out there a place of peace,
Mm.
a place of encouragement, a place where people see me smile and laugh at myself, but also I have serious times too. And I really try to pour into people as far as, there's other people out there who are sitting in their homes. Especially I connect, of course, because I'm a mom, but women in general who have had such great dreams and want to make a difference in this world and are just feeling very caught up in the expectations of maybe, where they're at, like being a wife, being a mom, being a college graduate. And
Mm.
instead of going for what their heart is telling them to do, they're just kind of pulling back. So that's always one of my things I try to do on my pages is encourage people to follow the guidance and the pull of their heart and their gut, just because I truly feel that that is the calling on my life, that that's God whispering in my ear. Of course, there's a part you have to go through and really assess that and pray about it and research it. But I feel like if there's a calling on your heart,
Mm.
when so many of us are tend to hold back because of fear, then we're letting go of something beautiful that God might be intending to use us for.
And I really do like how you shared in a sense of being intentional and also in that intentionalness, knowing that you want to pull and push forward positivity. But not only that, it's because the God that's breathing in you and you're being able to listen to him. And so I'm quite encouraged and intrigued because when you made that statement, I know other people may be like, well, how do I know that that's God prompting me? So, what brought about your certainty that this is the guidance from Him? And in that, I'm going to share about all of this goodness instead of all of this sadness. So, how did you break through and get to that point of security of hearing his voice in that way?
So for me, it was, I think, as we grow up, we have this feel of who we are, and in childhood, we're our best selves in a way. We're not jaded by the world yet. And as we grow up, we start to fall into these expectations. And for me, it was the encouragement of those around me. I think, Shylin, our friend you talked about, she's the one who gave me my camera and was like, I know you, you're a creative. Like, you need to have this in your soul. And I think part of it is if you feel unsettled in your soul, that's an indicator. Like, I just felt like unhappy in what I was doing. And I was like, there's no reason I should be unhappy. Mm-hmm. God has given me so much. And I have so much to be grateful for, but I still have this feeling of something's not quite right. And I think that when you open your mind to God and you feel like something's wrong, like I'm unhappy, something's just not right, you will start to see, if you open your eyes and allow yourself to see it, different, and I call them God winks, within your day, within your week, things that pop up. And the key is having an open mindset to exploring them, like, why did that person come into my life and say that, and I think that comes with lots of prayer, lots of contemplation, and lots of just quieting your spirit and looking at the people around you, and also talking to the people that are closest to you, definitely praying and talking to God, but also talking to the people in your life who know you really well and who you can honestly say, I'm not really at a place where I feel like I'm doing what I want to do with my life. Can you help me through this? I'm so lucky to have such good women, such good Christian women who can guide me. And I think that's another key, is having women who are also filled with the Spirit, who can also help you get to the bottom of it and see the truth of what's going on.
And I like what you shared, especially in a sense of an open mindset, because, today we're talking about having a winner's mindset, but from what you shared, it makes sense that in order to go after things and win and be victorious, that we have to have a lens where we are investigating, and it's okay. Because I think sometimes I can easily get distracted. I'm all over the place. Yeah. But coming to a place where I'm looking at the right things to pursue and being okay that in those items that come up, it may change my direction a bit. And in that change is a new opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I still really, really, really appreciate the contemplation piece, because it's giving ourselves the freedom to explore who we are and the freedom to identify with who we really are. And so I'm very excited about that. And just to go a little bit more in detail, because again, we're talking about a winner's mindset. In addition to the praying and journaling and having relationships, how do we get to the next place of, I guess, the leap of faith and getting us to a place where, okay, I'm going to pursue this now, and regardless of what people may think of me? What does that look like? How do we get to that place?
Yeah, that's a hard place. And for me, in general, am a pretty impulsive person when it comes to those type of decisions. So not everyone is like that. I'm just like, okay, I feel led to this. I feel like I just want to give it a go. I have a fear of not living the life I was meant to live. And so for me, I'm just going to give it a go and see what happens. And I'm not as scared about failing, which I know there are a lot of people out there who are very terrified to fail. But what I've learned is that the only way you can move towards those things you're really wanting is to fail forward. All of the people who have done great things in this world have failed many times. And as hard as that is to really take in for us, because it's hard, it's hard to go through those hurts. And I'm trying to teach my kids that, a lot of us didn't learn that when we were younger. So then we bring this fear mindset into everything we do, this fear filter. I wish I would have learned those things when I was younger. Like, it's okay to get a C on a test. It's not going to ruin the rest of your life. It's okay, to lose the championship game, and in those moments when we do, quote, fail, it's not really a failure.
Did you know that a Healing Peace podcast has a website? You will find resources along with our very own tools and tips on our website. Our tools and tips provide tangible principles to keep you on your emotional healing and wellness journeys. While you are on our website, sign up for our newsletter. You will receive a free emotional wellness assessment just for signing up. Also, you will stay informed about podcast episodes, courses, and workshops. You will receive all this great information just for signing up for our newsletter. Go to ahealingpeace.com today.
If you see something that you want to try, go into it with the mindset that, yes, I'm going to do great. I'm going to do amazing. This is the way that, I prayed about it. I really feel on my heart led to do it. I feel the spirit moving. But if something doesn't work out, there was a reason for it anyway. I had so many things that I failed at, but each one has led me to the next point in my life on my journey that has allowed me to this space that's truly opened up so many beautiful things in my life. And I wouldn't have gotten there without saying yes to so many things and having failures along the way.
Sure. And as you were saying that, I was curious to know, how did you get to a place of understanding that something bigger is there and not just failing? Because I'll tell you, it takes me a while because I get stuck for a moment and I'm like, oh, I should have did this. Oh, I wish I did that. Oh, so how are you able to pick yourself up and not stay in that place, but know that, okay, I've learned something and I X, Y, and Z. Is it just innate?
No.
Okay.
No. It's funny because I think we'll talk more about my career path a little later, but I'll just say quickly, the big jump for me, like I had my own photography business. That was huge, but it was artistic and it felt good to me. And I had a friend who kind of helped me with it in North Carolina. I'm the creative side. She did kind of the, books and stuff like that and helping me figure out prices. But the big shift for me was going into network marketing because there's such a stigma around it. And the good thing is I was surrounded by a community of people. And you hear that a lot when you get into network marketing because they encourage personal development. And so what I learned is that you surround yourself with like-minded people. You're as good as the 5 closest people to you in your circle. And surrounding myself with Christian women who had a strong faith, but also were going after their dreams and really trying to do something great in the world has been life-changing. Because, I get down. I get discouraged. I haven't hit my goals. I haven't done all that I wanted to do. I mean, I have thoughts like I'm 43 and I'm like, wow, I'm not farther than I was. But then when I have those thoughts, I go to those women who surround me, who pray with me, who say, lift me up, who've seen and know that there are better things coming. And I think just having a community that you can turn to truly changes things.
And I appreciate you sharing that because one of the things I think about within that community, not only with it being like-minded, but it's an opportunity to be real with ourselves and to be vulnerable and to be able to, and I think be okay with the fact that you can't do everything.
Right.
As women, we do everything.
Right.
But just hearing you speak, it's like, no, it's not meant for us to take this on all by ourselves and have this extra weight bringing us down when we have so much to give.
Right.
And I think what you shared is, for me, like, when I'm able to be in that community, I can give more to others.
Yes. Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until you said it.
It is a beautiful thing. I mean, that's why God wants us to be a part of a church, I mean, we're all better together.
Yeah. Right. And I think my next question is, how do you pick the right friend? I know you talked about good Christian qualities, but, and I think you also talked about people going after their dreams, right? But what about if you have people who are going after their dreams, have good Christian qualities, but yet your personalities don't match?
Mm-hmm.
How are you able to cipher, okay, this is going to be a great building friendship for me?
Mm-hmm. It's funny you say that because my first team that I had in network marketing, I'm still great friends with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer with that company, but they are not, most of them were nothing like me.
Mm.
They were the opposite of me. And the beautiful thing in that is they teach you how to grow into things that you need to grow into, like to be more direct, more for me, I'm such a people pleaser. So they taught me, to speak up, but of course in kindness, like we learn so much from someone who's different. And I think but the key in that is being open to the conversation. You can't, if you have someone who's very different from you, you can just kind of think that they might be thinking something else because they don't think like you. But I think having good communication is key and being open to learning from other people. Everyone, God created us all unique. He thought we were all special in creation. We all had something to offer this world. So the person who's different from you, they have something to offer you. They have something you can learn from them, and you have something they can learn from you. You might not always be best friends. We're not all going to connect and be best friends, but we all can be there for each other. We all can help each other be better, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And one of the things that I'm curious with, because in our previous segment, we talked about Christ's love and how he helps us provide strength even in our growing season. In the midst of your journey and the things that you've learned thus far, and of course you're continuing to learn, where are some elements in that journey where you say, oh, wow, I know that was Christ loving me. Like he got me to this next point.
I was talking about those God winks, and I think I know that Christ has given me the strength to make hard changes in my life. And we're kind of talking about this winner's mindset, and that, I'm centering that around my career and around my journey with my career. And I think a lot of times we are worried about what other people will think. We're worried about making changes. And the thing is that when we feel drawn to something differently, when we pray about it, when we get advice, and when we go forward in integrity, I think that's the place where I see Christ moving. When I let him move me, and when I honor the feeling of something's not right, it's time to move on, even though it's scary. I think that is the thing that has been one of the hardest things for me, is saying, okay, I'm gonna do something different. It's probably going to, make some people like, what is she doing? Like when I left photography, so many people were upset. They're like, you're great at it. Why are you leaving? Like, really upset. Like you've invested in workshops and equipment. And I just knew in my heart, it wasn't right for me anymore. I was spending time on the weekends, photographing other families instead of going to my kids' stuff. My husband was in the military, so he was gone a lot. He was living in Louisiana one year and would come home every couple of weekends. It was just taking time away from my family. And then I started having some anxiety over it because people are people. And sometimes you get some customers who are not pleased just because, you do everything you can. And I just started feeling anxious when I went to, and I was like, I shouldn't feel this way. And so when I left photography, it really shook up a lot of people. They didn't understand. And I was just burned out on it. And I knew it was the right thing to do. God brought network marketing company into my life. And that was another thing that people didn't really understand. But, I think when we allow the Spirit to move us and we listen to it and we trust God, that's the thing. Because I think the fear is us. Like, well, if I stay here, it's easy. If I know it, people are happy for me. But God is gonna, I think, to me, what I've seen in this journey in my life is God is going to just blow things up and make his name so much bigger when we step forward into that unknown and we allow him to help us there. When we sit in fear, we don't allow him to work in big ways.
And it is so true, though, because my recent journey was that I was having a difficult time just believing and having faith that God was going to move something in my life the way he said he was going to move. And so what happened, because I didn't have the faith, I just started grumbling. And I complained about everything. And in my complaining, I made God so small. And then eventually, because God is God, he got tired. And he really challenged me. And he said, you're not getting anywhere because you don't believe in me. And I was just like, And it was challenging because it was like he put the responsibility back on me in the sense of, will I trust and believe in him? And so I'm grateful that you shared that, because we have the polar opposites. And I can tell you guys, if you're not willing to put yourself in that position, more opposition is in your way. But if you listen to Kristin and be a woman of faith and surrender, you're able to just conquer things. So we have a good contrast there, you guys, a good contrast. And I say that too, because there's moments in our journey where we're going to be one or the other. But the goal is to be in a place where God can keep molding.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a great place to end for today, because I have so many questions and I was about to ask you about 20 more, but I looked at the time and I said, let me slow down. Mm-hmm. So Kristin, will you come back? Because I still got some questions to ask. And I know that more people want to hear about having that overcomers faith, that winner's mindset. Will you come back?
I'd love to. Thank you.
Come back next week. We're still having a great conversation.